Today, I want to talk about humbleness. Necessarily, when I'm walking through the woods, today's actually a really warm day. It's moist and it's a little bit humid, but like a tropical jungle, and it's cool. And there's not, it is warm, but at the same time, it's damp enough to where there's not as much mosquitoes. And it's in a stage right now where it's not fully has all the say ferns and all the other stuff, but otherwise, it looks like a jungle, and things could probably hide, like say birds and grouse that you wouldn't be able to see. There'd be no idea whatsoever. So if you were actually taking your time through the forest, you might, you know, have a bird that goes like that. Oh, that's pretty cool how it can do that. All of a sudden like that. The thing is, I had a vision, okay, during the winter. I wanted to say real quick that inside my mom's house, that was there. It was actually signed over by a president for a deed or whatever, and it's basically like a landmark. But anyway, that in itself, that I had a vision that I was in the kitchen flying, and I could show that I could fly. And all these things, sometimes when they get really into depth, where you can actually see things, I can actually imagine the new civilization, and I'm going to do it. As soon as I'm all in to do this, if I have the land to do it, it won't. I could take like 2-3 weeks to get one of them things done, and I'll do that every time. So I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could have like quite a bit, but I'd only do one. And if there was more people, just say that came in to live that way and to function, but at the same time having what we have. Seriously, you wouldn't have to rely on the outside thing, but the outside thing's always there to rely upon. If you had, say, stored money from a reserve to use, say, in the Matrix or vice versa, you could have that. If you feel better that way, to have security that way, that'd be awesome, because you never know what it could face, you know what I mean? But at the same time, having all of what we do, and we could use all the resources that we know how to do already, like canning, like, certain things like that, but also to make food within mixing foods to create things that we do, but they're not going to have all the starch, all the stuff in it. And at the same time, when it gets on a larger scale, just think, that's of what all we're going to do. So then what nature does, and it spreads the birds, and all what they do, they're everywhere. They take up that space of what they do. And if we're not stepping into who we are of what we do, it will not be the full outcome of our intention of each individual human. But yeah, I was just having that on the inside, because when I'm walking, if it goes out like this and punch down, go underneath a branch, and then it might, do that. So I like to take it easy on this crystal, because it's been through quite a bit already. And the thing is that I noticed crystal's energy increasing, and mine too, when it has it time to, say, reconnect to the information. In a longer stretch of period that you're away from the information, the more it pulls back to you. And when I say that, it means that, say, like, if you're realizing an aspect, say when I went through the dark night of the soul, that really contracts that aspect of how that is. It's just another aspect of like what we're living in, but if we weren't living in that, we wouldn't bring up them aspects. They wouldn't create the existence of what the karmic effect did, because this nature and everything is perfect. But the thing is that if we affect it, we're actually affecting the consciousness of nature. Now, if that affects all this, until this planet, if there was a planet, say it was all in balance, had no problem, the function of energy would know itself and all others. It would be step outside of that fact, be what it is. See, that's what it was intended for. Man, but how far along did this come to get through all the aspects of itself? Like, I wonder really how old or how long this has been going on. Really, though, that man has been here to go through of all of what it created and did, but at the same time, that's a function of itself. It's natural to be doing that. We are the soul to express of what it is. That's where it comes from. Well, sometimes we don't understand that, when we're fasting and not even eating, we get on the stage where we have more energy. But why is that so? It's of who truly we are. We're not blocked from any other outside poison thing. We're actually healthier outside of that, eating less, but healthier. Thing is though, like once a week at least, I eat like a big meal, or for like 2 days I would eat kind of a bunch, but then I don't feel the need to because I get like these stomach aches and I just don't feel good. And the thing is, I have more energy, and the thing is that when I do have more time to just say heal and not do anything and relax, I have more time to think and really tap into what we create here. Because, okay, when I'm, say, walking, or say if I'm running, I wouldn't have that much time to think about all these things, right? So you can't really tell me that I'm constantly playing guitar and dancing. That just comes with everything that like I tap into, and sometimes it triggers me. I'm like, oh yeah, that really motivates me to do this because I'm like this far, or this, you know what I mean? And I'm like this close, and then I see an opportunity for this, and it's just a consciousness too of this nature and everything. You can't disassociate from it. You guys can't. You have to like embrace that, even if it's intense, even if it's so high vibrational, it kind of shocks you in that way. Because when you're in it for a long period of time, you'll feel like you had too much. Sometimes, some people will. Like, I always thought why I wanted to go back in the house for some reason. I always used to do that, but I was like wondering why I wanted to, And it's a pure fact of that the energy is different, and we weren't calibrated to it from the birth of what we were taught, of what we were programmed to think, and that went against the natural flow. But at the same time, we were against that flow, like in our way we thought about things, because it wasn't on the right structure of things. When we aligned to that right structure of things, it is a process. Trust me, if you just started or whatever, it's going to take a long time to kind of get with it completely. But it just merges into the fact of what you truly are, like what you do, and everything that you look back at was everything valid of like who you were, of what you're trying to do. You could see your higher self coming in certain times of your life, say when you got mad or you're upholding something, and truly in the physical, that is good. When you're upholding something, not having resentment fully in the physical to place the knowledge, because I realize I let that resentment get to me sometimes because of this fact of how long this has been like this. And the thing is that when outside of the fact of the resentment in each circumstance, and I'm giving it that life, I'm taking that away from them in their energy field. When they come in, say with resentment, I would know how to handle that and just do what I am. And in certain aspects of certain things, I'll just do of what I know. But the thing is that I'm only doing this to set this example. And the thing is that I remember, say like 3 weeks ago, I had one beer, but after I drank that beer, I would feel less of what I felt, so I didn't drink anymore. But then on the previous night, I was like, oh, I just wanted to see if this, works again. And I experimented with it, and nothing happened, so I only drink one beer. And now I went like 2 weeks without drinking at all. But the thing is that I was already on the verge of not like drinking a lot at all, hardly would drink. To the point where now I don't even have that urge to just say, when things are getting tough or whatever, when I had them sort of things, I just don't have that anymore. You know what I mean? I totally gave into the more of my higher nature because of the fact of that. When it gets down to this, when I was trying to get the information out, when I was kind of battling it, thing is, I was having no fear and everything, but the thing is, there's still souls and stuff trying to stop me from doing things. So that's why I was battling basically against it to get further, to fully get my knowledge. And then when I fully get my knowledge, I sit back. I don't have to do anything but just progress myself in this physical, because I know I have a lot of time now. Trust me. I will live as long as I want to live. It is your choice. How young you really feel is how young you would look. You start looking as young as you start feeling. And when you connect with the truth of what it is, you are with the full energy spectrums. And when you get to them energy spectrums, when I was moving that crystal around in the sun, you feel like light codes going in. I feel all these aspects of like, you know, it's like a technology, the way it's reflected too in every little, this energy is like what we are of what it is, but then when it expresses itself into certain things that it enjoys about certain aspects of like what this is, of what we roll into, of what we are. And the thing is that whatever it takes on, you will take on. It is your free will. And in the higher realms, you are more of yourself, of what you were created to be put down here from, of what we created to begin with. So listen though, that's why it's like a game, because realize there's this fundamental of like the real truth of it, which is a little bit more deep and real. When your soul cries, say, and it gets really emotional, you feel that deepness of the intertwined field of reality. Just in general of that feeling, that is connected to what similar feelings you'd feel there, just on way heightened levels of what you energetically are of a part of. Like I see so many people that look like similar people in a certain aspect, you know what I mean? And then there's certain other aspects of other people that I see in other people. And it's only certain people too. And I would see it. It's just like almost other selves of them being on the planet that look exactly like that. Probably same characteristics, same type of energy, from the same force of it. It's just like we would never really think that that would be us in a little different version of what it experienced and went through. But that life is totally different. That experience is totally different because of the fact of the circumstances. But if we stepped in and lived longer, stepped into them circumstances, we would almost act and be similar as that. Of that function, I see same mannerisms of certain people like that, or, you know what I mean? I tap into many art, like when I look at bugs, they go down to the detail of little things, in big things, in just the whole scope of it. But then you realize it's so familiar and tight together and close. Then you really think. But the thing is that this heightened awareness, it takes time, and I don't want anybody to excel before their time. Like if you feel like you need more time, give yourself more time. But the thing is that pushing yourself out there to get through that, beyond the soul spectrum, to be empowered, to feel like you can handle it and will yourself. See, when you will yourself, this is really powerful. Like on this game of existence here, when your vessel gets to a certain stage where you take this game seriously, like you know the realness and scope of it, so you cannot go outside of what anybody else says, but you know that truth. And then you do that, and you go, and you find so many, like say challenges, but you will fight through that, and that is good to do that. Righteously push through to get through. But then, give yourself that time of who you are to be with yourself. To realize how much you like everything else. To not feel like you're so insignificant when you are significant. And that I really love when other people grow so much, and I would see an aspect in them, and it makes me feel so freaking good when I see more people like opening up to that, and I'm like, wow, like I thought I never would get that back, you know what I mean? Of what I put out. Because I was, for a long time, I suppressed my emotions because no one in the world was like this. Quite on the scale of like, I already felt it from a long time, and everybody else did too, but we gotta step into who we are really, because it triggers ourselves. Like when you get older and stuff, you'll really start thinking, what am I doing with my life? And you'll start like really start thinking about this, you know what I mean? And what will I do each second, even if they, you know, I'll save all my documents from here on out. I got to clean out that USB drive too. I got to tell you this, because I can't get it in there because something's stuck in the top little slit of it, and I got to get that out. But until I can transfer off some files, I can't delete them. And the thing is that that's why I only do podcasts like this for a while until that happens. That's why there's not going to be as much movies. But the thing is that I really got to make sure everything is the way it is. Because I got to leave something behind for what this is, because I feel like I need to. I feel like Every day in my life I've been thinking about this. But for what reason? Because I cared. Because for what reason? I experience what I get back of whatever is in the mix of my circumstance upon what energy is there influencing. So if I really have this influence to be what I truly know I am, but I was afraid to even step into the role of it, because it was a tremendous thing to do. Like when you realize that, you're like, whoa, you really wake the fuck up like Neo off the Matrix to realize like, holy shit. And it's starting to hit home, and you know that guilt and whatever that is just also the intensity and the weight that you're carrying. But that in itself is going away from me. It went away from me a long time ago. But the thing is, I still feel the intensity sometimes when I wake up from, say, these aspects. Because it's just part of the dream world of what... You know, when things merge from here, a lot more information goes back to the spirit world, right? And that spirit world comes back. See, when we play our part, that's when it exists. That's when we look at that little ant. It's way down there in the grass that no one else sees. But it's there. And then, when all of the world is focused and they don't see the ant, but everybody's pointing at that ant all of a sudden. They say, look at this ant. It is there. See that ant. And then everybody will know that that ant exists. And it's there. You know what I mean? And they go out of the scope of it. They go out of the scope of it. They go out of the scope of it. To find the common ground within of what was always there. That's a hidden treasure. You know what I mean? I see that. Oh, I see that. And it's just like, the more you reverse, I'm saying if you reverse your videos, you'll hear code of like who you are, what you're part of, like angelic realms, like Garden of Eden. I remember that one. I gotta repost that one, and I know I do have it still. That one is important. Like certain ones from the past too, I really got to. Until I can get the USB thing in there. Because it was a freaking mango. I left a mango in my bag, and it got in the USB drive, and I thank God it didn't go into many others, and I wiped it all off, and it was just slimy. And I forgot it in there for like a day. And I had to clean it all up and do that, but wow, like, I should have got it out, and that would have been really good eating, but see, I gotta like, I'm just too fucking busy. But at the same time, I enjoy it. I'm so glad things are getting done. The more I get done, the more I'm gonna be happy. Because if I don't do it, it is all on what this is of what I'm a part of. That they communicate with me and show you as well as show me through the video. Just to, you know what I mean? Say like how deep this is really getting to when I get to the stage. How many times did we got them signs, but when they are starting to realize when you're doing videos to actually purposely do things, you know that they love you. You know that they're there because they know the truth of this. And they're siding with it. And everybody else that's ignorant that thinks this is a little too far out, you gotta let your heart, you're not letting your heart in. You gotta let your heart in. Every human being needs that. And no matter who you are, you know the truth of what you should be living in. No matter how stupid this world wants to be, you're not stupid enough to be that way, are you? Exactly. So keep on living, keep on growing, and these freaking birds, oh yes. Beautiful every day, every way.